Have you ever reached the point where you wondered if God still remembers what He promised you? Have you ever felt so deeply weary that it seems your prayers aren't being heard and nothing in your life is changing, even after waiting so long? What you're about to discover may surprise you, because this isn't just another video, it's a divine message from God, a direct spiritual word to your heart at the moment when you most thought about giving up. Perhaps you're going through a phase where everything seems stagnant, as if God has not forgotten you, is just a distant hope. But inside you there's still that silent doubt: is God really working in my life? Stay with me until the end, because this message is not by chance. Even when you feel alone, God sees you, understands your pain, and knows every detail of what you have been silently facing. Perhaps no one around you notices, but God knows you are tired, and yet He continues to act in ways you cannot see now. While you were thinking of giving up, God is working behind the scenes, preparing something that has not yet been revealed. And now, before continuing, you need to open your heart to understand what this message is about to reveal. If this message resonates with you, I want to extend a simple yet sincere invitation. Leave a comment below sharing what has touched your heart the most so far, because your experience might not be unique. It could be exactly the answer someone else needs to read today to avoid giving up. And if you feel this message speaks directly to your life, don't ignore it, because often God is working in your life precisely through these small signs and connections that seem simple but carry a greater purpose. Take this moment to also leave your like, because that helps this message reach more people who are tired, silent, waiting for an answer from God. And maybe someone you don't even know yet needs to hear exactly what you're hearing now. And if you're not yet subscribed to the Divine Call channel, I invite you to subscribe now, because here we continue sharing messages like this, messages that speak of God's promise for you, of hope, of faith, and of new beginnings, especially for those who are going through difficult times and need to be reminded that they are not alone. Your participation here is not just a simple gesture. It helps this content reach more lives that need guidance, comfort, and faith. And while you continue with me, understand that what you are feeling now is not by chance, because this message is not over yet, and what comes next may be exactly what you have been waiting to hear for a long time. Often, what hurts the most isn't the problem itself, but the silence surrounding it, that feeling that nothing is responding, that the doors remain closed, and that perhaps you've been forgotten in the middle of your own journey. But what you need to understand now is that God's silence has never been absence. Even when everything inside you screams for an immediate answer, there's an invisible process happening behind the scenes of your life, something that doesn't depend on what you feel, but on a profound transformation being built in silence. While you may interpret this as a standstill, God is still working in your life, adjusting paths, removing what cannot continue with you, and preparing decisions that will completely change the course of your story. What seems like abandonment may actually be protection, and what seems like a delay may simply be the time needed for everything to align perfectly. There is a hidden truth in this process that you cannot yet see, but it is shaping your mindset, strengthening your faith, and leading you to a level of understanding that only waiting can build. What's happening in this silence may be directly linked to the greatest revelations of your life, something not visible in the natural world, but already in motion in the spiritual realm. And perhaps, while you try to understand why nothing changes, the true answer lies precisely in what you haven't yet realized about this journey. Comment below, this makes sense to me. And it is precisely at this point that your mind begins to be tested, because when the silence lingers, doubt tries to become louder than faith, and you begin to question whether what was once so strong within you is still real. But here comes the revelation that completely changes the way you see this journey. God has not forgotten His promise, nothing has been erased, nothing has been cancelled, nothing has lost value along the way. There is a profound spiritual truth in this, because what has been released over your life does not depend on time, circumstances, or the human decisions around you. What has been said about you is still alive in the divine plan, and even if you have felt stuck, there is an invisible movement adjusting every detail of your story so that everything aligns at the right time. It's as if, behind the scenes of your life, a silent transformation is rearranging people, paths, and decisions that will directly impact your future. And if you could hear this personally right now, as a direct voice to your heart, it would be something like this: what I said about you still stands. This means that your journey hasn't lost its purpose, that what was planted in you will still flourish, and that no difficult phase has had the power to undo what has already been established. This isn't just about hope, it's about a change of mindset, it's about seeing the hidden truth behind the process you are experiencing, and how it is connecting every part of your journey in a much greater way than you imagine. Write this down: I believe in the promise. And when you understand that the promise still stands, another realization begins to emerge within you. Perhaps what you called a blockage in your life was never truly an end, but a preparatory process that you couldn't yet see. There are doors that seemed completely closed, situations that you interpreted as rejection, delay, or loss, but which were actually being aligned for something greater than you imagined. The truth is that many of the decisions that frustrated you, many of the paths that didn't progress, and even some opportunities that quickly disappeared were being guided by a spiritual intelligence working behind the scenes of your journey. This is not by chance. This is transformation happening on levels that are not visible in the natural world. What seemed like an impediment may have been protection, and what seemed like silence may have been a strategy for rebuilding your mindset and your destiny. Now you begin to realize that God is opening paths that no one can stop, because when a direction is aligned with purpose, no human barrier can sustain what needs to happen. An impact is being formed in this process, something that is changing the way you see decisions, time, and even the delays you've experienced so far. And the more you understand this hidden truth, the clearer it becomes that your journey is not standing still, it is being redirected towards something much greater. Comment below, God is in control. And when you begin to see that doors are being prepared to open, another, even deeper truth begins to reveal itself within you. The waiting time you questioned so much was not a mistake, not a delay, and much less a lack of direction. In reality, this silent period was working on something you couldn't perceive at the time, an internal construction that completely changes how you deal with life, with decisions, and with faith itself. While you thought you were standing still, something much bigger was happening in your mindset, your emotional resilience, and even in how you perceived difficult situations. Every frustration, every delay, and every no you received along the journey was shaping a stronger, more mature, and more prepared version of yourself for what is being released now. There is a hidden truth in this process. God didn't delay you, He prepared you. And this preparation isn't visible at the beginning, because it happens behind the scenes of your life, where decisions are aligned, where character is strengthened, and where your faith is tested to endure what is to come. The impact of this is not only spiritual, but also emotional and even practical, because everything you have experienced up to this point is connected to the next level of your journey. This waiting period completely changes how you interpret the past and what you expect from the future. Comment below, God prepared me. And when you understand that the waiting time wasn't a delay, but preparation, something begins to change inside you in an almost imperceptible way, as if your mindset were being reorganized from within. And now, in the middle of this journey, there's a turning point that doesn't happen outside, but inside you, the moment you decide to believe again, even after everything that has made you doubt. This is the kind of transformation that doesn't depend on circumstances changing first, but on your perception changing before anything else. Because when you begin to see your story with new eyes, you realize that the impact of everything you've experienced so far wasn't in vain, it was construction, it was a process, it was character building and spiritual strengthening. And that completely changes how you face the future. Something is moving now in the invisible realm, as if decisions are already being aligned, paths are already being adjusted, and situations that seemed impossible are falling into place. This is the part of the journey where revelation approaches, or what was promised begins to take shape in the real world, even if it is not yet fully visible. This turning point isn't just about hope, it's about recognizing that you've come this far for a purpose, and that the promise is closer than you imagine, even if everything still seems silent. Comment below, I believe again. And if you've made it this far, perhaps it wasn't by chance, because not everyone stays until the end of a message like this, especially when it speaks directly to the heart and to everything you've been experiencing in silence. If something within you was touched during this video, consider it part of your journey of transformation, a reminder that you are not alone and that there is a greater purpose guiding every detail of your story. If this message resonated with you, I sincerely invite you to subscribe to the channel, because here you will continue to receive words like this, messages that speak of faith, direction, and hope in moments when it seems like nothing is happening. And if you made it to the end, leave a comment here saying, I'm with you until the end, because that shows that you not only watched, but truly connected with everything that was shared here. If this content helped you in any way, please leave a like, because that helps this message reach other people who may be going through exactly what you went through today. And now, if you want to continue in this same atmosphere of reflection and faith, there's a video here that complements all of this, and it might be exactly what you need to hear right now. Click and continue with me there.